Market conditions majority bullish, 14 and 0 on the daily time frame. S&P futures sitting relatively flat this morning, point up point 0, and we're also seeing majority bullish on the weekly time frame, 14 and 0. We certainly have an expansion of trend. We're at the upper end of this range. All-time highs had a really sharp move off of those April lows, and really have not had any kind of a retracement or counter trend from the beginning of that point, and a lot of volatility happening back then. But we're right back where we're at, upper end of this range. S&P 500 closing out yesterday also up 14 and 0, sitting at those all-time highs. We did see a pretty big spike the last couple of days in the breadth of the markets, number of stocks above the 50-day moving average. Not, I'm calling that breadth, as we've talked about before. It's really not the full breadth of the market, but what we want to know is what percentage of stocks are trending in strong bullish trends, and anything above, trading above or trending above the 50-day moving average. And of those 500 stocks, it's a pretty broad representation, pretty good idea of the overall breadth or trend of this market. 75% of S&P 500 stocks trading above the 50-day moving average. The upper end of that range and pushing back towards that 80 range, it can go significantly higher than that. You can see some of these moves back here up above 80, starting to work that direction here as well. Also seeing VIX pull back less than 15 or right at 15, pushing some of those lows here as well. Bullish for the market at this stage as well. We could also be, starting to see kind of this melt-up scenario where we see this price activity just get another real big push, kind of a flush to the upside, kind of an exuberant move higher and pulling everybody in. Sometimes big institutions are looking for liquidity at opportunities to sell, and so new buys that are coming into the market aggressively at market tops can sometimes create that extra liquidity for institutions to be selling into. So be aware of just where we're at in this trend right here, and we'll take advantage of it as much as we certainly can, as long as it happens. But we're at a range where we could see a retracement right here, particularly if we got a spike. We were to get a nice spike and push things up into these extreme levels. That would be even better, an even better scenario for at least a shorter term market top. VIX continues to drop down. You're just not seeing any fear, and because of that, that is anticipating future fear. But although VIX can stay at these lower levels for a length of time, Dow Jones Industrial Average we're getting large participation now across the board. Dow is now moving higher, just about to push through its supply block, almost ready to make some new all-time highs. See if we end up getting that. Triple Q's continuing to push also nicely here, majority bullish at 14. IWM is also participating. It was really the Dow and IWM, which are small caps, that had been lagging. We're starting to see that participation now, pushing up towards supply on small caps. So we'll see if we get that. By supply, I'm talking about this level right here. This was a big area of selling before, and we've pushed back to that level. That can also be a future area of potential selling or supply sitting at these levels. We'll see if we get that on IWM. But we're pushing towards that move, that 230 range, and we could we're not there yet, so we could get some continued like I said, kind of that melt up scenario, especially if we're getting Dow, we're getting small cap, we're getting the large cap, small cap. We're just getting full participation now in this market at these levels. USO, let's take a look at that. 75 really hasn't done much for the last few days. And gold, let's take a look at gold here. 309 pulling back, majority bullish, still in the momentum zone, still moving nicely to the upside. Let's grab this swing low point here and see where that connects us. Almost, just about another breakout point for gold. We'll see if we get that. Pulling back a little bit today, but demand is still there. Flattening, consolidation, not a whole lot, but it's had quite a bit of time to consolidate here. We could see that act towards the upside. Dollar also having some strength, but giving some of that back, and you're seeing that corresponding move in gold, a little move higher in gold. Dollar's moving back down again. They are typically in tandem. SLV, which is silver, continuing to move higher as well. 35.47 on that breakout of 31, still continuing that overall trend. Starting to get pretty expanded though right here as well. That's an unsustainable trend when we just start to get goes straight up for a length of time, then you start to get the demand that starts to dry up at some point. We're not there yet. Let's take a look at the 2-year. We're seeing that strengthen a little bit here today at 390. It's majority bearish on the daily time frame, majority bearish on the weekly time frame. Also, 10-year is also getting some strength, majority bullish on the daily and the weekly time frame. That's been the one that still has that real bullish tone looking to it, where we're in momentum. We grab this low and just a lot of consolidation, but holding right around that 4.5 range currently. Markets don't seem to be overly concerned with that. Let's take a look at a couple stock ideas. We've got PEGA, which has had a nice confirmation bar, increased volume, back in momentum. That is from the new buys screen that we have. 54 stocks in that. So we're getting stocks that are moving higher, broad participation. Could see some follow through on this. Also seeing one other one that I wanted to point out was PLAY, which is Dave and Buster's. Nice looking pattern here as well on that trade, above 236, big volume, confirmation bar on most of those setups as well. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.